emotions taking me over. I'm caught up in sorrow, lost in the song. But if you don't come back, come home to me, darling. Don't you know this?
Nobody lived in this world to hold me tight.
Don't you know this?
Nobody lived in this world to kiss goodnight.
Good night. Welcome to DMC, Deep Meaningful Conversation with Nqobile and Zethu.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Yay.
So we just thought of this. Well, I didn't think of it. It was Zethu's idea. You got to give credit where it's due. So Zethu was like sending me a WhatsApp and stuff, and she was like, "Here's what we should do a podcast." And I was like, "Yo, girl, not me, because it's not me. This is more Zethu than it is me. I enjoy having conversation with her in private.
We're doing this.
Let's do this."
So glad. I am so glad. Really, really glad. And I definitely think it's insights into our conversations that we have in private.
It really is. Even though we're not going to literally sit here and discuss our personal lives,
No.
but it's definitely sharing experiences that we have encountered, and also like our opinions of how things are today, and also understanding us why we have the opinions that we have because of a certain way that we grew up and who we are. That's basically what this is about. It's those deep, meaningful conversations that we have. And we'll just take you through our journey first before anything else so that you can understand us. Yeah.
We really, really don't mind diving in. We hardly ever have small talk.
No.
No. Firstly, because we're cousins and friends, but we just don't like small talk. So yeah, I'm Zethu. I've known Nqobile my whole life. Because Nqobile is a year old, so I've definitely known her my whole life. And our moms are sisters, right? And we basically grew up playing together, doing things together. We used to visit Nqobile's house a lot, so I'd sleep at her house a lot, and we basically were just like, you know how it is where kids are like a year apart or almost a year apart as children. We played together all the time, and I remember I used to just be like, wow, this girl, she's so pretty, because you had long hair, and hair was a thing. She had the thickest long hair. And I remember even your mom when she'd come in, she's like, "Yo, listen, guy."
I hated that hair because I loved the thickness of that hair, but my goodness, it was so much work.
It was a lot.
So, and I think it was not. I don't even know what type it was when I think about it now, because I think I outgrew it now. Most probably because it was really hectic. Because even if my mom cut the hair, it was even worse.
Yeah,
like it was a lot.
Yeah. So my experience of Nqobile, she was like, and you were very like poised, and you like were calculated, and I don't feel like I was. And I remember even when your dad used to always buy us like PSs and stuff, and Nqobile would keep hers to eat later. I was like, this child. Obviously now when you eat it later, we all want it because we ate ours. So yeah, I think a lot of my life I grew up admiring you. I grew up being your cousin, and later on in life I became your friend. Later on in life I also moved into your house. I lived at your house grade 9.
Yeah, grade 9. I think that was where our friendship actually started developing. Because previously we were in different areas of our lives in terms of my dad, we were mostly based in KZN, and your dad traveled a lot when it came to work. So you were in Stenga one time, Glendale the next time, Swaziland the next time. So you were really, really like well traveled. So you were that kind of, you guys were never in one place at the same time. You were always traveling, And so when you came to live with us, I think that's when our friendship developed. Because I also have, like, my siblings are way older than me. So when you came, it was like, oh, finally I have a sibling, And then it was like, okay, I personally think that's where our friendship developed. Before then, I think we were more cousins than we were anything else. Then when grade 9 came and you were living at home and you were going to school while living with us, that's I think when our friendship started.
Yeah. So that was our friendship.
Yeah, that's how
And I think one of the significant things I remember, this was your last week. Yeah. So at some point we went to the same school, and I felt like I think I was just really going through a lot of immaturity. Going through maturity. I was immature.
Yeah,
and I felt, growth was a lot. And I just felt like at the time, my group of friends, I think there was someone in my group of friends that was either dating or liked someone that was in your group of friends. And then it was a them versus us type thing.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much like, so you better like choose. And I mean, I introduced you to my friends. So, and that you were like so forgiving and so understanding, because that was the penultimate immaturity.
Yeah.
So silly.
I think we do silly things when in order for us to grow. You can't grow without, you need to go through something. So I feel like it was an experience for you. You went through it, you took something out of it, and here you are today, you know?
Yeah.
So it did contribute to your growth. And I can't judge you for something we did in grade 12.
Right, but grade 12, I feel like that was a bit mature. But yeah, I think I love that, because I was like, no man, this is a safe space, there's forgiveness.
Yeah.
And then post-matric, and we also spent a lot of time because we like coffee, and we'd be like, okay, let's study, and
I think that's when popcorn, our love for popcorn developed. That's where it was. Because we started off with popcorn, and then we used the sugar, then we realized this is not for us, then we were just natural, then we went salt, and then Zethu started using spices.
Oh yeah,
what's the spice? I think it was butter or what. There was a spice that she started using, and I was like, I kind of like butter, but I'm not sure. But we are here now, and we are 100% salt, like salt in our popcorn. So yeah, that's it. That's where our love for popcorn came through. Coffee came through.
Yeah. Deep loves.
Yeah.
Addictions, maybe.
Maybe that's where we are. Yeah.
Maybe. And I think for me, those things sort of solidified the fact that just because your family doesn't automatically make you friends, but you actually choose the friendship, and you know, and you've got to choose the friendship and the things that come with friendship, because friendship comes with an added responsibility.
It does. It actually does. People underestimate that so much. They assume that just because you are someone's cousin, someone's sister, you automatically become friends. And the way society is, it has actually put pressure on people to be friends with their siblings. Sometimes you don't like the person your sibling is, but then you have to become like they're your siblings. So that can be enough. I don't have to be now your friend, because sometimes I might not like the person that you are, even though you're my sibling. But I love you. Doesn't mean I hate you. But, you know, I sometimes look at my brothers and look at my sister. I'm like, I've never been in a meeting with them, but I don't know how I'd feel if they were my superiors and I'm in a meeting with them. You know, so there's that part that says that people are now putting pressure on everyone today to say that your sister, if she's your only sister, she must be your best friend. You know, sometimes your sister is not your best friend. Sometimes your sister is your sister.
Yes.
You understand? She will look after you. She'll take care of you. She'll be like your secondary mom.
Yeah.
You know? Yes, you will run to her about things, but you never run to her about the nitty-gritty of your relationship.
Yes.
Your nitty-gritty about the things that you go through financially or certain things, you understand? So there's always a limit in some of those things. Now society is putting so much pressure that you have to tell your sister everything. You cannot have your friend. And now they're making it seem like it's not a beautiful thing when you are friends with your sister. It's like it's supposed to be like that. What's so weird about that? I'm not so special about that. But it's quite a lovely thing if you are friends with your sister. I think that's the most beautiful thing if you have that friendship as well.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so I think we can attest to it and say, Nancy, we appreciate the friendship that we have. Because throughout the years, it's okay, we need to have we anything else other than, you know. So I think Nancy, it helped us because as we grew up, okay, our friendship is actually developing. We have a friendship. We realized that this is not the cousin factor of things, this is more friendship. You know, so I think that Abantu shouldn't gaslight certain things.
It's so much pressure. And I also feel like we have this thing where our parents give us a lot of values and a lot of things pertaining to religion and customs and stuff, and we adopt it. But as you become an adult, you grow your own values. And for me, I found that there were some similar values in us that grew our friendship. And there's sometimes cases where you don't share those values with your siblings.
Yeah.
Because now they've chosen their own path. People choose their own thing.
And that's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And when you look at us as Mina, I'm Nqobile. I've got, I'm a mother. I'm a sister. I am someone's daughter. You know, I am your cousin. And one day I'll be someone's wife.
Yes.
What a blessed man.
Yo.
Bless his soul.
Joking.
So with that being said, would say that is me. I'm all that. That's why I could never put myself in a box and say this is me. You know, one thing to put me off is to say to me, please describe yourself in 3 words.
Yo.
Listen, you will speak to yourself and then yourself again, because
Yes.
I could never put myself in a box. You know, especially because when I read my Bible says I'm more than a conqueror. So when my Bible says I'm more than a conqueror, it's not limiting me to one thing. It says basically whatever I go through in life, whatever obstacle, I will conquer. And it's like when you don't know how to swim, for example, you decide, okay, I'm going to start taking swimming lessons. And then you start being good at it. And then you start take advanced lessons, pardon me. From advanced lessons, then you take pro lessons. Then you become a pro, then you become a swimmer. So I can't sit here and say, I am these 3 things. No, because I'm going to start swimming lessons, then I'm going to become Nqobile the swimmer. You know, I'm going to add on to the list. Especially because my Bible does not limit me, you know. There's this thing that old Joel Austin normally says with his congregation at the beginning of a sermon. It always says, this is my Bible. He says, put your hand on your Bible. And he says, this is my Bible. I am what it says I am, and I can do what it says I can do. Those words are my favorite out of the whole affirmation that they say. When they say, I am what my Bible says I am, I can do what my Bible says I can do. Anything and everything else is just noise. Yeah. If my Bible says I can, I will, and I will do it. But that's me. That's my faith. I'm not saying that you should also apply it, but that's how I've been living my life. That's how it has worked for me. I'm at the age that I'm at, and that's my recipe for life. And that's how I've been dealing with life. So I think that would put me in a situation where I could say, that is me. If you were to describe me, that is basically me. I can't put myself in a sentence. 3 words. I can have a conversation with you about myself, about how I feel about certain things, about how I've been living life. Anything and everything else, I cannot put myself in a box. You know, that's me.
And society likes boxing these days.
Definitely.
There's a lot of boxing, and I think the lessons also sometimes, like you're saying, I love what you're saying, is to not, like, even if someone's put you in a box, to not accept it. Like, if you're not going to come and get to know me, sit down, it's fine. Go with your opinion. Exactly. I'm not here to try and convince you.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah.
I'm not here
I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that, well, you like green. Listen, I also like green, but I kind of like lime green.
Yeah.
I'm not about to sit here
I like lime green, and that's that.
Exactly. So that's me. And I think one of the best gifts you've ever given me was the Bible you gave me for my 21st birthday. I still have it. It's still like one of my favorite gifts. So for my 21st birthday, Zethu couldn't make it because I had remote. So she was at school. School started, and it was, I think it was during Easter holidays, but she couldn't come because I think we were doing vacation work as well at the same time. Yeah. So with that being said, you bought me a Bible, a very, very thick Bible, mind you, as thick as a thesaurus. You know, it's huge, like you would think it's a textbook. But it's a very nice Bible, and I still live by that Bible. Thank you so much again for that Bible. I love it so much. And that Bible is literally what now? 10 years old?
It you know, it is.
Yeah, and I love that Bible. It's one of my favorite things to always refer to because it has so many notes in it. Yeah, and I love it so much. Thank you again for that.
Pleasure. Your Memula was very beautiful, by the way. Even though I didn't get to see it, I saw it in pictures. I'm so happy that I missed it.
I don't know where those pictures are.
Really? The purple dress?
I don't know where those pictures are. If anything, I just miss that body.
Conversation for another episode.
That's another story for another day, yeah. But I was raised in a way whereby I remember I used to think your family was more open than mine.
Yeah, my family was liberal compared to No, we were. It's not even a thought.
Yeah. I always felt like you guys were way more.
Yeah.
We had, like, I grew up, right? So this is the difference between Zethu's parents and my parents.
Legit.
So my mom and dad were like, it's their way or the highway, you know, it was never. But my dad was very sweet and very gentle, you know. My dad would make you believe that your opinion mattered. My dad would make you sit down and say, no, let's talk about it, you know. Like, Sissy, pull up a chair, let's talk about it, let's discuss it, you know. You know, let's talk about it, let's discuss it, but don't think you're going to have your way. But he would like to hear your opinion about whatever it is, you know. Then my mom was like, why are we even having a conversation about this? Because you're the child and I am the mother. So why are we even sitting here and having this conversation? Because clearly I'm the mother. And I say, no, don't go because I don't like it, you know. She never gave us the platinum. So, Ma, why am I phone? She was just like, I'm
no.
I can't do my
That is why I said, she used to say, there's been really just to your hair. You know?
So she was like, you know, so Uma would let Uma, you know, and I never understood that. Like, I only understood it later on in my life, would see why she was like that, because at some point she started being ukuk overtook her, and then once one get ukuk bad time, I guess they become more in certain things. Then I once asked her, Mom, why are you like this? Then she explained. Then so many things make sense, because one of my prayer items at the time also was like, God, please make me understand my parents as individual human beings besides them as my parents.
I remember that.
Yeah, so that was also one of my prayer. So that was my family. We see 6 o'clock we pray. Mom comes back from work, siyathandaza, yonke into sidlandawonye ngesonto. That was us ekhaya. Umantombazana ahlala endlini, abafana bahlala estradini. If uzobe estradini by 5:30 usendlini. Uma when she drives in from work, wena kumele umlandele uvale igate. You know, Ntombazane must not even be on the other side of the fence. Kumele uhlala usendlini, uyapheka, wash uniform, uyafunda, you know. That was household yasekhaya. That was yabona siphila njalo. We used to look at Zethu's parents and like, wow, that is ngaba nathi nabazali aba so free and open. But yeah, that was my mom and my dad, my parents, how basmolisa. Then you have Zethu's parents.
I feel like I did admire your parents' structure though. Even as a kid, like, you know, like those type of things you normally admire in hindsight, but even as a kid I had some level of admiration to the structure, especially your mom's structure. Like, I think even when I was a kid, I had a premature, like, I'm a Christian, and then later in life I was like, okay, am I a Christian? What does that mean? Yeah. But as a kid, I feel like she made me make sense of it. She helped make sense of the fact that it's a disciplined thing, because she was so disciplined. And just that consistent prayer, consistent reading of Bible. I think your mom used to wake up early. You could hear her. It's still dark, whether it was summer or winter, it was still dark and you could hear her praying. You're like, wow, this is so much structure. And the fact that she gets to pray as a family. So, because I came from my, liberal home, I used to be like, why don't we sing? So they'd be praying at their house at 6 o'clock, and let's say I'm there, I'd be like, why don't we sing, blessed be the name of the Lord? And as a kid, you know that's wrong, because we're supposed to sing Zulu song. Oh,
not really, but
and they were like, no, even you were like, no, it's not going to fly.
We do at school.
We do at school.
Doing
the name of the Lord is.
As strong as house, no. That's for school. We pray, so yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was raised in a home where, number one, it was, we moved around quite a bit for the traditional black family. And that already like looking back, it was somewhat uprooting because now, especially living in Swaziland, you go to people that laugh at you when you speak Zulu, and then you pick up some of their Zulu, you come to South Africa, and then people are like, you know, Kulma. And you know, I think even that made me like, okay, I'm gonna just strengthen my English. From English goes like everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So I think there was already uprooting. So I think I'm sort of glad my parents managed it by being like, you mustn't have too much structure, right? Because if there's uprooting and then there's structure as well, because to even survive that environment, we used to come to South Africa a lot. And we'd be chasing the border gate times. We'd be like sometimes sleep at the border gate because this is actually home, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you still need to. Yes, you're South Africa. You live in Swaziland, but you come, especially month ends and stuff. You'd always come, and you can't now already now be moving around, and then there's too much structure.
Yeah.
So I think for them that was a method of coping. And at first, my mom had to she stayed in South Africa, and we went with my dad. So it was even more liberal. We ate cornflakes for supper. And I think for me, it also made me, especially in high school, I realized there was a lot of things about me that were immature, but I knew how to sort of be without my parents. My parents they didn't ever have to be like, now it's time to do this. No, because I was used to the fact that this is life, you know. So for me, that was it. But I think, again, going back to the fact that I admired your structure.
Yeah.
There was a service we used to go to Eswazini. That was an evening service at church, and my mom was more into church than my dad. My dad was very
chill,
not about that life.
Very chill.
And yeah, we didn't really even have a congregation we belonged to. Now we do, just by the way, but we didn't have one. We were just going here and there, and I remember I started liking that service, and it catered to kids. It catered to kids understanding the gospel, not just kids playing, but kids actually understanding what does salvation mean, where you're going to go if you die. They used to scare us with that question all the time. Yeah. So for me, I wanted to go, and my dad would be like, you can't go. My mom would be like, you can't go. So for those type of things, I actually admired your structure. Because now you're like, okay, is this right? Is it wrong? Is it two ways about it? But I think they worked it out between themselves in high school, because then we had a stable church.
Yes.
And we were back in South Africa, and it was a more I think more structured you know, than it used to be. But definitely, and my siblings were away in boarding school. So I think for them, and when my siblings are here, it's holidays.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get a Swazi high school education, especially because we'd already started with the South African curriculum for them. So for my parents, how to work that out was just, okay, we're going to have fun when it's holidays, so they come, we're going to go to the club to swim, we're going to play. And I remember we used to accompany certain friends home, and I wouldn't mind helping people go home, because I know my parents are gonna mind that the lights are on, the street lights are on, but they're not gonna scream about it.
Yeah.
But my friends, they're gonna get hit. So it's a company. There are certain people I actually remember we used to accompany them, and we lived down there. I wouldn't mind. I'd still be walking with people, and then once my mom would be like, "No, you must come home at this time," then I would start. But other than that, I'm like, "No, I can accompany you, because me, I'm not gonna get hit, but you're gonna get hit for this." So let's accompany you. So yeah, I definitely was raised. They were strict about certain things, but I won't lie, it wasn't too much. It wasn't too much.
They weren't too strict. I'm still trying to think about it and see what were they actually strict about.
They were strict about hectic things.
Yeah, hectic things, yes.
You can't do drugs or smoke and stuff like that.
Honestly, I think every parent,
Yeah.
It's I feel like how we grew up then and how our kids are growing up, the generations that our kids are growing up in, it's very hectic, or it's very hard to be a parent. You can't parent without being judged.
Mm-hmm.
Because society has so much opinion on how we should raise our kids, how our household should be. I think the next thing society is going to tell us how we should paint our walls.
Yeah.
The way things are going. Because now, as someone who grew up knowing very well, would say this is how a family is structured. That was how I grew up knowing, would say, okay, But with that being said, I think we would say I'm at a point where now I can say, okay, I can sit and pick some things with, okay, I don't think this is how I was raised by kids, looking at how I was raised, and this. But also at the same time, with that being said, there are things or ways that we were brought up that I think they are absolutely or rather they are methods that we can also use nowadays. But the way society is built and the way society is and the way society is so judgmental, and trying to implement certain things, rules in your household, society wants to judge you for it.
Yeah.
You know, if I believe kids should not come home at a certain time, society will be like, why? They live in a day whereby they need to be free. You know?
Yes.
Because that's the one thing that every parent always says, or every young parent always says. You know? But maybe that's why in Ghana it's because of that.
Yeah.
And maybe because Nazi says soft understanding parents, Nazi we're trying to overcompensate ngezinto ezenziwa abazali bethu, and we're trying to fix them enganeni zethu abangazazi lutho.
Yeah.
You understand? Meanwhile, that is another topic whereby we need to do internal healing so that we can raise our kids and our kids don't have to heal from us.
Yeah.
You understand? But that is something where that you must undergo as an individual. It's okay, I want to go therapy where I want to heal from the things that I thought were normal back then.
Yeah.
You know, so that I don't hurt my child in that way. I want to speak kinder to my child. I want to be more kind to my child. I want to learn how to apologize to my child. Because darling,
they never apologize.
Apologize for what your parents.
My mom once slapped me, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm shy. But a slap, she didn't apologize.
Yeah,
So.
that's my thing. I would say
Yeah.
nowadays, that's why I slap a man. I would have to find a way to sit down, calm myself, bring myself towards myself, and explain to my son what I did what I just did. You understand? I'm not saying, it was wrong that our parents didn't apologize, but it's something that maybe I think I would have appreciated an apology to understand. You know, what wrong did I do? How did I wrong you for whatever it is that you...
Because you could have beaten me out of anger and not out of discipline.
On many occasions.
Because the things that I did made you angry, fair enough. But were you still beating me out of anger or discipline?
Or you were angry and then I happened to just be on your way. She decided she wants to cut her hair.
Yeah.
Or whatever it might be. Something serious, but from netball.
Yes.
So there's so many things and understand that. I mean, as a parent, it's okay, fine. I understand that we're overcompensating for the way that we were raised and how we grew up. But Nakon is going to hit us at the back of our heads. At the end of the day, how we raise our kids, like the Bible says, is we teaching them in the ways that we want them to be. Yes, I want my child
raise
to be
them in the ways of the Lord.
Yes, I want my child to be
successful. We can continue in that way.
Yeah, but you can still tell your child to say, yes, I grew up near Bible.
Yeah.
You know, how about you take a situation or a story and you say to your child, let me take you back to the Old Testament, because the Old Testament had stories for days.
Yes.
Let me take you back to the Old Testament. Let me show you something. You know, take an example from the Bible and put it in a way that it makes sense today, so that your child understands that it is the way, the truth, and the light.
Yeah.
You know? So how you want your child to be? Yes, I understand that we are living in a day and age where everything is so difficult. You know, you're trying to also bring yourself towards yourself as a human being. Now, as a mother, I need to become a mother to my son. You know, and then at the same time, the world demands so much from me. Is expected to come from me. So it can be a lot, but
I like what you say though, the fact that indeed we can heal some of the things that our parents did, like apologizing and being people that can talk to your child and be like, this is actually why XYZ, because we were just we just moved, right? There was never a conversation. You were just hit. There was never a conversation that helped your child mind process. Okay, I understand why this happened, or you were just told that it's going to be like this. That's it. But still have that. I am structuring, and I am also. I can't but think of like when Psalm 23. I am also still a shepherd, and I'm leading you. I'm not saying because I think like what you're saying, the fear of we live in this society where you got a gentle parent. It's almost like you mustn't parent.
Yeah.
You still need to parent.
You still need to parent.
Gentle as it may be, but there's still a task of saying, you will decide what you want when you're older, but here's some life lessons, here's some values, here's some wisdom, that you can impart on your kids. I think definitely our society needs that because we did not grow up in an age where you could have a teacher on OnlyFans. That's not us. We grew up in an age.
OnlyFans,
OnlyFans. Our teachers looked older. They looked way older than today's teachers.
They weren't so lit. Our teachers were abazal betabanye. You respected your teacher.
Yes.
That you gave them that authority. It's okay. They are your superiors.
Yes.
You don't even look at your teacher in the eye until you went to Igor Nezabelu, where if you don't look at them in the eye, they think you're lying.
Yeah.
But with how we grew up to now looking at an elder in the eye is like being disrespectful.
Yes.
So it's totally different for the Western culture. But with that being said, I think it's challenging, to be quite honest with you, in terms of how our generation is going to be parents. So I think we must also be kind to each other as parents of the generation Yamaj.
Yes.
And I think if I come to you and I say, yo, Zethu, I'm not coping, I don't know how to do this, and it's okay for someone to come to you and say, I'm struggling with raising my child. Because at the end of the day, I think we want kids that are great and they never limit themselves and that they never, they need to be more like this world. But people that, we want to raise people that we can be proud of in terms of you can look at your son and look at your daughter and say, you know what, I'm glad that they made decisions which made them better people. I'm glad that they were never in a situation whereby they compromised who they are for somebody else.
Yeah.
So who are tricky, man?
Who very tricky. And kids today have access to exactly. Actually, I'm not even saying what they have. Some kids can buy online with their own card and put a CVV number.
Lepo we thinking we doing financial literacy and get siyabafundisa ukuthi nayo imali yakho
buying the most.
You understand, they'll be buying games like crazy. They'll be buying whatever like crazy, subscribing to certain things abanga understand.
Yes, things are not safe for them.
But kunzima, how to protect your child from it and also how to give to allow your child to be liberated. Kunzima, there's a thin line.
It's paper thin.
Very.
Really? I respect you. I respect parents. I respect a lot.
I don't know, because sometimes
the heroes
would say they also are growing and they all have their own personality. Exactly. So by the personality and as sometimes your child grows to be someone that so as a cooler, maybe you saw this very strong, confident little boy, and then as he grows old, you realize that he's shy, he's timid. But now you're like, how? But I want that boy back, my little pumpkin that did not fear even inja. I want that boy back, the one that had faith like a mustard seed. You want that little boy back, But because life has unfortunately put him in a position whereby now he's more of himself. Now as a parent, you must learn to now adapt to this new child of yours who's now developed. About the past. When was I yes, that was so nasi lenti buyisibambe.
Yes. Now the person must feel bad for uthula.
Sesinale syndrome. Sizoveda lithula ngasibonga.
Izokulaya
uthula ke manje ngane. Sesiphethe futhi nale syndrome ukuthi bazothina abanye abantu.
Oh yeah.
Yasibulala lo syndrome.
Imagine.
Isifaka ey'kweletini, isifaka endaweni emotionally esingayifuni. Siyabo sigcina sesingamabhulisi singabazali. usuya kuma-parents meeting uma ngasibani bani ufuna ukutshengisa yena ukuthi uyena osophila kunoma ngasibani bani ukuze ukwazi kangcono esikoleni kugcine nje sokuwumdlalo wasesikoleni ongayazi insambatheka yento.
The governing body is like a fame.
Ngathi ufuna ukulungisa high school ngadumile. Omunye ufuna ukuthi nje high school ngangidume ngangifabulous sekufuna ukuvusa leyo.
Need girls times 2.
Yeah, understanding
part 2. Part 2 for adults.
Yeah, so angas.
Right.
Yeah.
But what's as we go towards the end, what have you been thinking about lately? What verse have you been thinking about, or what like thing in pop culture like took your attention?
I think actually I just thought of something ukuthi khona leli verse that I think I mentioned to you, and I don't know the exact words of this verse. There's this verse in Bible that literally talks about ukuthi ingane kumele shawo.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Spare the rod, spoil the child. So I think very nakhona there's a thin line between ukushaya ingane ngoba ingane nokushaya ingane because nje windows zakho.
True.
You understand? So sometimes I feel like sometimes scrap that word. Sometimes I feel like I prefer ukuthi umuntu angishaye. I abuse bazalwane. Physical abuse, no. I prefer that you discipline your child in a way that I remember in Christian school.
Yeah.
They used to put us in a room and they used to spank us because we didn't do our homework, we've been warned, or we're talking in class. They used to spank us. So they will take us in the room, they will spank us, they will make us understand, number one, why am I being brought into this room? Number two, you would, like, by the time usu-ready, it's okay, I understand that, and it made me shower because you're wrong and you understand? So, when it comes in a soft parenting, but oksalayo, you're not sparing the rod. So it's like
the rod is being given, but
you're wrong. You put him in a position where I have to discipline you. If not discipline, if when, as your mother, and what you're trying to say, no, I'm going to go in there try to save you.
Yeah.
The same way I'm coming in at this point of your life and I'm saving you for making a mistake. Because
yeah.
You are literally saying that thing yes, I'm putting it straight now. So I rather disciplining lento yenzile wrong. Uyazi ukuthi ngibonisa uqamba, but still wangasibona isidingo ukuthi manje ngiyaxolisa. Umbuzo ukuthi uyayibona into yenze wrong. Yini oyibonayo wena i-wrong lento yenzile? Sure. Let them be the one when ungabatsheli before wena umtshele ayibone naye ukuthi wrong kanjani. Bese uthi yabona nje bahlela hayi ngobani. Kumele vele ngikhiphe kulobisho kulona. And that's why ngikushayela ukuthi ungaphindi uyenze lento as a lesson to you kwazi ukuthi i-wrong lento. That's why manje ngishaya. Then uyamshaya umntwana kuphume kanjalo, you pray about it, you hug them, you love them. My darling, 10 seconds later the same child that you shaya kamereni is a kuwena hug.
Wow.
You understand? Like because inhliziyo yengane njalo. That's why it's why iba inhliziyo yengane.
Yeah.
So inhliziyo yengane njalo. So I prefer that than ukuthi ingane imingene ushaye ngamazwi.
Yeah.
No, ushaye ngamazwi because le parenting yamanje sesenze njalo. So shaye ingane ngamazwi. So that's the one thing I was thinking about. Yes, some people might think sparing the rod is the best way. But also think about how you can verbally say something to a child and in their life. You can look at a child you will never become something in your life.
Wow.
Then in 25 be successful like kodwa uNkulunkulu ngenzani ukuthi lengane ingabe successful. Kodwa ukhumbula ukuthi ina 10 leyangane wathi kuyona ngeke zibe yilutho empilweni yayo. wena wakhipha amazwi ayiqalekisa ingane yakho njengokwakhipha sengiwabuyisela uhambe enkulunkulu uxolisa ukuthi nami 10 years ago ngenza into out of ukucasuka.
Yeah.
God, please forgive me for what I said. Ngenza ukungazi, ngenza ubulima, nami ngicela ungiqondisele ngalokho. So that God can take lawo mazwi leso siqalekiso sifaka ingane asikhipha siveze.
Yeah.
Because ingane ihamba nesiqalekiso manje isi-right empilweni, ingqondo yayo isi-right, isingomunye umuntu, but ipunishwe 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yabo. So that's why ngithi mina rather ngishaye sikhuluma siqede siphume.
Yeah, pay.
You understand? Then ukuthi njalo mingene ngishaye ngamazwi. Eyothi one day misikule platform isingane
Mama
wathi kimi
nakaseni mawushaye
uma wathi kimi yabo. So lawo mazwi lawo ahlala enganeni. So I think mina yona into adihlele kumina, and especially because njengoba sikhuluma manje ukuthi soft parenting versus indlela esikhule ngayo thina. And who I am today, I am grateful for so many things nami abazali bami abazenzile empilweni yami. Yes, okunye ngifuna ukushintsha when it comes to raising my own kids. Nakhona futhi ngizobe experiment angithi ngizobe ngazi, but ezinye izinto ngiyazazi I want to have a firm hand in. Yabona. So I think yona into that I really want us to ponder on. Nomunye as a parent, even as umuntu osazoba umzali, that you want to think ukuthi how would I want to raise my kids in the long term. So I think ileyo nto leyo ukuthi okay, in as much as ingane imiphuma ekuseni kumele uyithandazele ekuseni. Because iyaphuma going to encounter certain things eziselifini kumele uyithandazele ekuseni. Angisho phela ukuthi wena ungayithandazeli there's something wrong, but I'm just saying ngokwami ukhuliswa and my belief ngiyayithandazela eyami ingane. Nawe uwenza lokho okwenzayo ngendlela owazi ngayo, ngendlela wena wakhuliswe ngayo, futhi mhlawumbe ayifani nevumelani nami, but that's on you, that's your belief, that's how you want to do things. So ileyo nto that I was pondering on ukuthi nje don't spare the rod.
I love that. I think for me it's the verse I have on my arm, John 15:13.
Yes.
Greater love has no man than this, than to lay down his life for his friends.
Yes.
And I was thinking about it during the week that part of the disciples, I mean, okay, so he's speaking to them and he now lays down his life for us as well, right? But he's telling them that there's no love greater than this, that I will lay down my life for my friends. And before that, they do discuss that, very rarely will someone die for a good man, for a bad man, for a good man even, but I'll die for my friends. And I was thinking about that, and in Jesus's company were his brothers, and just that idea that he had the time to call his brothers, or he'd call family members friends. And I was just warmed by that, is that it's an old concept, this acknowledgement of friendship, even if you are relatives. It doesn't actually end there. And I think for me, that was such a warm thought, looking at us. And then as you're speaking, I was thinking about this thing that's like trending on TikTok. Utimani mkuza, because and it's true because. And I think a lot of the people that are like responding to those TikToks are trying to understand because they don't know Zulu. But it's that whole thing of like we all want to know that how do you call someone to order? How do you discipline?
How do you promote? Definitely.
So
it's a good question though. It's a good question. That's basically it.
Yes, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you so much for that. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or whatever.
Week. Yes. Deep, meaningful conversations. Bye.